All right, guys, we're about to get started. Hope everyone's having a nice Sunday. It was nice and sunny earlier. We got out for a little bit of a walk. Hopefully you guys had something fun you did.
How you guys doing?
We're going to do the warm-up part, and then I'll do the workout part.
All right. As you know, our Sunday routine is to make it a bit of a lighter deload day, and we're going to stick with that one. And so we'll run through a bit of a joint mobility like we usually do. The workout part will be, shorter like it usually is on Sundays. And if you're somebody that you've got multiple kettlebells available to you, go on the lighter side today for sure. It's supposed to be just a recharge sort of thing. And then we'll finish with a little bit more mobility work at the end. If you have any requests for, again, muscle groups or body parts or anything like that are feeling tight, send them to us in the chat right now, and then we'll see if we can sneak some of those in as we get to the stretching at the end of the class today. All good in there?
Yeah.
All right. Cool. We'll get started with our neck like we often do. So try to posture up pretty tall, get your tail tucked under you just slightly, and we'll start with chin to chest. And back up. You're just going to go at your own speed. Don't force anything too much. Maybe one more. And let's do some full neck circles. So we'll start with the chin to chest. And then rotate to point your ear at the ceiling, your nose at the ceiling, the other ear. And slowly do maybe 3 each way. After 3 the first way, switch sides. All right, that's 3 each way for me. Let's just do a few shoulder rolls, nice and slow, 5 each way. And spot for me. Go ahead and switch after you've done 5 the first way. Good. We'll go with our elbow circles. I'll step forward so I don't bonk Mira. 5 each way. Again, fairly slow. Let your wrists kind of curl with you for the motion. Good. And then the other way. Good. All right, shake that off, and then we'll go wrists and fingers. So interlace your fingers together like so. Keep your forearms somewhat close together and swivel your wrists one direction. I'll call the switch. And trade directions. All right, go ahead and shake that off. Point your palm down at the ground. Go ahead and pull your fingers back up towards you and just gently kind of pull into a stretch back and forth a little bit. Okay, switch carefully to your thumb, same thing. Okay, and then turn your hand the other way and then go ahead and pull the fingers back so your palm is away from you like this. Same thing, pull that back maybe about 5 times into a stretch. All right, we'll trade to the other side. So point your palm down like so. About 5 times. Give it a pull so you feel a stretch in the forearm muscles. And then switch carefully to the thumb. This is obviously a much smaller joint, so don't go too crazy. And turn it over. Go 5 here. All right, we'll do a few hip circles here, hands on the hips. I'll call a switch. trade directions. Good. All right. We'll go down to hands and knees and do a few ground-based ones. I'll go sideways to the camera, and we'll do our cat-cows or cat-camels. So think about tucking my chin to my chest as the center of my back goes up to the ceiling, and then I'm going to lift my chin as my sternum drops to the floor. Just go at your own speed. Maybe one more each way. All right, just kind of rock this back and forth a couple of times. This is a pretty easy, gentle warm up for the toes and the knees. You see how I'm on my toes here? I'm not down like that. I'm trying to warm up my toes and my knees by kind of closing down right here. And maybe one more of those. Okay. And then we'll do our upper back. So we can go hand behind the head, or you can go hand here, either one. I'm going to make my elbow go toward my opposite knee, and then up to the sky. Oh, big pops. We'll do 5 of those. All right, after 5, trade sides, hand behind the head. Try to touch elbow toward opposite knee. You already got a few pops there too.
That was from my elbow.
Oh, regardless. All right, and then we'll finish with just one more here. What we'll do is sit down on your butt, and we're going to do some mostly ankles. You might get a little bit of a glute stretch with this too. So what we're going to do is sit sort of like this, go and cross one leg over the other, and then you're going to use your hand. Let's do maybe like 5 circles one way. After that, go and trade it. Go 5 the other way. And then you can just switch sides after 5 each way. Same thing here, 5 each way. All right. Cool. Looks like we've got one thing in the chat already. I'll make sure I'll check this here. All right. Casey's vouching for Officer Mike that he's actually doing the workouts, so, and not just sitting around drinking beer. Not till after the workout is done. So, all right. So hopefully everyone's joints are loosened up a little bit. And again, we're going to pass it off to Mira here, and she'll run us through the workout for today.
Okay. So we're basically going to do these nice and easy today, a little bit more of a recharge focus, but we are going to do them on top of the minute. So basically the protocol will be, Tony can go first, then we'll go afterwards, and then we'll still have a little bit of time before Tony goes again. And as far as what size bell to grab, just grab something a little bit lighter if you have that choice. And it'll be pretty straightforward as far as movements are concerned. So I'm going to go ahead and get the timer set up, and then we're going to start with some 2-handed swings.
Are we going? You're gonna trick me. Almost tricked me.
I think the batteries on this are dying.
Yeah, we could probably use some new batteries in our timer. Are we going now?
Let's go. Yeah.
All right, 10 swings.
This thing was broken. 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we're going to go together. Okay? Ready and go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
Good. So have about 20 seconds to relax.
And next is swings again.
Yep, we're going to do swings again. After that, will be some push-ups and some goblet squats, more swings, get-ups. We'll mix bag. And go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, we're going together. 10 swings.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
Okay, about 20 seconds, and then we're going to do push-ups for 10. You need to do them on an elevated surface. Go ahead and grab that surface. My shoulder is still bugging me, so I'm going to do them elevated. Ready? And go. 1. Speaking of push-ups, we have a little tip today on the Instagram about elbow placement on the push-up, making sure that they are at either a 45-degree angle from your body or right up and down your rib cage. And those are safer angles versus having them flare it out. If you have any questions, definitely check that out.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. What's the next one?
Goblet squats.
How many?
10.
Everything's 10. That's easy.
We're doing goblet squats for 10 next. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, everybody, let's go. 10 goblet squats.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
Whew. Then we're going back to two-handed swings for 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, everybody, let's go. 10 swings.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
About 20 seconds. 10 more swings. After that, we do get-ups. I hear essential services will be open in the next couple of weeks.
They're already open, right?
I hear some of them are open like early May.
You said essential. You mean
Oh, I
non-essential?
meant like, No, I meant like doctors and dentists. Essential medical or non-essential medical? I don't know. Whatever that falls under.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
I still think it baffles me that you can get balloons delivered, but you can't work out.
Get up next.
Yeah. Get up on the left-hand side next. About 3 seconds. Nothing too crazy, nice and slow. All right, left hand get up for us.
Here you go, guys. Nice and smooth. Left to get up. All right, righty coming up in just a few.
Righty get up.
All right, here you go, guys. Ready? Nice job. Good control.
2-handed swings next for 15.
15 swings.
15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15.
All right, here you go, Mary. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15.
All right, and we get a break.
Officer Mike's favorite part, even on Sunday Fun Day.
1 minute break.
So we got 60 seconds, and then we're just gonna run through that whole thing one more time, and then move into some stretching after that. Again, if you guys have stretching requests for muscle groups or body parts, quickly pop them into the chat right now so we know what we can help y'all with. About 30 seconds.
Got 10 seconds, guys.
10 swings, correct?
10 swings. 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 15, 15. Ready? And go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, everybody, let's go. 10 swings.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
Whew. 10 more swings next. About 20 seconds. Anybody have any exciting plans for Sunday? Besides kettlebell class?
Mike's lounging by the pool. All right, 10 more.
Chlorine kills the virus. I wonder if that's true. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, everybody, 10 to us. Ready and go.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
10 push-ups next. About 20 seconds. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
All right, here we go, guys. 10 to you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Woo.
Next, goblet squats.
All right, here we go, guys. 10 goblet squats. I'll go first, and you match.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, everybody. 10 to us.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
Nice job, everybody. We got swings again.
10 swings.
10 swings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Big mirror. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Swings one more time, right?
One more time with the swings. And get ups and swings. About 10 more seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, everybody, 10 swings to us. Ready, set, and go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
Whew.
All right, home stretch, guys. We just have a get up each
Get up per
side,
side,
and then 15
4
swings.
swings.
All right, 10 seconds.
One nice easy get up. All right, now let's get up to us. Left hand side.
All right, righty coming up.
Righty get up. Good. All right, guys. Righty get up to us.
All right, almost there, guys. Nice job. All right, 15 swings.
15 swings. Last set, best set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 15 swings to us, guys.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15.
Whew.
All right, guys, nice job. Catch a breather for a minute. You can clear your kettlebell out of the way. And then we're gonna just move to a little bit of stretching. Again, if you have any requests for body parts, muscle groups, quickly put them in the chat because we're gonna start in just a minute here.
Back and shoulders. Back and shoulders.
hip internal rotation. That's a trickier one.
90s.
You want to do it?
Yeah, I can do a few. All right, guys. So we'll start with back and shoulders. I think that request came in there first, and I would generally start, any sort of back routine if you're trying to get some extra mobility there with those cat cows that we did in the warm up. So I would say if that's something that you're trying to target, just get in the habit of doing those on a pretty regular basis. You want to go. You don't want to force range of motion with those, especially with your back. You want to be a little careful and not like plow into it really hard. But you do want to go sort of to where you start to feel some resistance at the top, and then same thing at the bottom, but don't force through that at all. And then another sort of similar one that you can do, and you'll actually see our jiu-jitsu crew doing stuff like this on a fairly regular basis, is putting your back into a little flexion and just kind of rocking a little bit. Let me scoot away from the camera. So I can just sort of make myself into a ball like this. So I'm lacing my fingers together in any sort of grip that's comfortable, but I'm definitely making myself into a ball. And I can just kind of rock back and forth. And it helps me work on sort of opening up all those vertebrae and being able to sort of maintain that a bit. So it doesn't have to be long, like, 15 seconds or 20 seconds or so of doing that. Is another one that can pair with those cat cows or cat camels or whatever to help that out. Now, feeling tight in your back can also come from a lot of different, there's a lot of reasons you can feel tight in your back, and not all of them are fixable just by trying to target your back itself. A lot of them are going to be from other body parts, such as like your hips not being really dialed in as well as they should be. And so I think targeting the back and the hips together is generally, it goes pretty well. So we've got the one request for some hip stuff and the other request for some back stuff. And I would say that one that is a really common culprit for almost everybody is tight hip flexors. And if the joint capsule in the hip is tight, it's going to for sure limit your internal rotation of your hip, which is one of the requests. And it's going to be pulling your back into a tough position as well. And so if you need a towel or a pillow or something under your knee, have at it. But what we're going to be looking to do is get to a half kneeling position here where my pelvis is stacked right on top of this down knee. And just like a lunge, my pelvis is stacked right on top of it. I don't want to have my pelvis out in front, okay? And from this position, I'm going to tuck my tail. The analogy you hear our coaching staff use a lot is that if your pelvis is a soup bowl and you filled up this bowl all the way to the rim with the soup, we're trying to rotate it so the soup spills out of the backside, back here. I'm sure many of you have heard that before, but it's worth repeating because it's such a critical detail to this stretch that we're just not going to be able to get an effective stretch without that. So I like to keep my hands back here to guide that. And together, let's do 20 gentle pulses forwards and back. And it should only be about this like 1 inch motion here. If you're going much more than that, I can pretty much guarantee you that you started out of position. You started with either the pelvis untucked or something else was sort of off there. We've got about 10 more. All right, we'll trade sides. I'm going to square up to the camera for this side. And I want you to also see that my foot of this leg, my right leg, is blocked by my thigh. Like I'm straight on the camera and you can't see it. If my foot is this way, that's a problem. That's not going to get me the stretch where I want it. But this is the default that a lot of people do without even realizing it. Now, if you want to really try to kill two birds with one stone and work on a lot of things, we can address that hip internal rotation request by trying to flare my foot a little out that way. It doesn't have to be very much, but I can try to put my hip in a little internal rotation still tuck my tail, and I'll do my 20 from right here. We got 5 more. All right, go ahead and relax that. And then as another component, so our shoulders and our hip joints have both internal rotation and external. And for most people, the internal on both the shoulders and the hips is much more limited typically than the external. And in both cases, trying to just force yourself into that is not always a really viable solution. And so actually working on the opposite side of the joint capsule can be the ticket that you need sometimes. Okay, so a good way to target the back of the hip joint capsule, which will stretch the glute and it will loosen the capsule itself to help make hip internal rotation a little bit more available, is again just our basic 90-90 stretch, or some people call it like a shin box stretch, where we're trying to get a stretch right in the back of the capsule here. Now let's walk through a few details of this. Okay, so if I square up to the camera and my left leg is in the front, my left leg is facing the camera here, right? Ideally, I want to be able to get a stretch where I fold right over my knee, and I want to feel that in my butt, and I don't want to feel a pinching sensation in my groin or my crotch area. But what happens for a lot of people is they do feel that, and so they try to go forward. They're not getting anything at all. So if that's you, that's a problem. We want to work on it. But your solution for right now is going to be to scoot your knee over this way so it's offline with your hip pointer. And now I'll be able to come forward farther. You're going to get more of a stretch in your glute there and a little bit probably less in the capsule. And the capsule is going to be more of our target for this. And just as you get better at this, you're going to want to nudge your leg more and more. So you're going to go right down your thigh bone instead of off to the side like that. But just do something that works for you for now. But any pinching in the front is going to make this completely counterproductive. We're not going to be getting what we want out of this stretch here. Okay. And so from this position, my spine stays neutral, and I'm trying to kind of fold forward to get a stretch deep, like in the hip capsule. It's not even necessarily a muscle, right? It's the deepest tissue that's holding the thigh bone into the pelvis. Right? So it could very well feel different than a stretch in a muscle belly, which a lot of you might be used to. Okay? And to really be effective with these, there's a lot of details that we just aren't going to be able to cover in today's class. But let's just hold it for about 1 more minute here, and then we'll trade sides. Generally, to get this to work that well, it's going to take fairly long holds. It's going to be at least 3 minutes per side. And to be honest, the people that really get the most out of it tend to do even quite a bit longer than that. And we're not going to keep you here for quite that long today, but you guys will have the resources at your disposal and probably the time on your hands, most of us do right now, in order to be able to do this. All right, let's go ahead and relax, switch sides. And sides are often different with this. Sometimes a person can go straight down their thigh bone on one side, and then they can't on the other, and they've got to move their leg way out. So respect that if that's how it feels for you. But remember, we don't want any pinching in the front of the joint. That's a big problem if that happens. And you're probably doing yourself more harm than good by trying to fight through that. So we need to give you a modification or an alternative that lets you get the stretch in the area that we want without any of this pinching in the front of the joint here. Just a little bit longer. All right, and go ahead and relax. So just keep that in mind when you're doing any mobility work, that we shouldn't have the term we have for it is closing angle. So when I stretch a joint, I've got, like, let's say I'm trying to take my arm up this way, right? The top part of the joint is closing and the bottom part is opening, right? So I don't want to have any closing angle pain when I do my stretches. Like if I'm trying to make my arm come up here and it stops because I get a pinching or a pain in the front or the top of my shoulder, all I'm going to do is make that problem worse by trying to force it through. I've got to tackle this with some other strategy. But if I go up and my arm stops because, it's stopping because I feel a stretch here, well, that's actually what we want. And so that's something that you can effectively try to stretch through. So if you're somebody that you want to work on your hip internal rotation, which is the ability of the hip to kind of come in that way. But when you do that, it's like, it kind of, it jams and pinches and hurts on the inside. You're only going to do yourself more harm than good by trying to force your leg that way. We need some other strategies on how we can address that. And then same thing with the shoulders. The shoulder mobility was the other request. And in kettlebells, we need a lot of shoulder mobility. And same thing for you. If you're somebody who, I'm trying to get my arm overhead and I need it to be able to come all the way here, but I can only come here and it starts to hurt right here when I do it, you trying to force through that's only going to do more harm than good. So we need to get you a strategy that could be setting you up with some physical therapy with Josh or something like that. But we've got to get you something where we can tackle that some other ways. So, all right, guys, I think that's plenty for today. Thanks for tuning in, and hopefully everyone had a nice light recharge style workout. We'll be back at it tomorrow at the usual 3 o'clock with more. And then just a quick recap on our announcements. We're trying to get into the best gym in Portland voting. Right now it's the nomination phase. And so we're trying to recruit everyone to go to Willamette Week's website and type in a nomination. Please include the word gym in that nomination. And then last thing, if you guys are watching and have any techniques that we do a lot in class, get up, snatches, cleans, whatever the case may be, and you'd like one of our coaches to get eyes on it and see how it's looking, since we're not obviously here in person at the gym, then just ping me a message and we'll set you up with Adam or Casey to do a quick little 15 or 20 minute like Skype or FaceTime technique tune-up session. No cost to you. We're super happy to give that to you as just a show of thanks and gratitude for the support you guys have all given us throughout this whole thing. And hopefully it'll all be over soon and we'll be back in the gym and one big happy family again in the near future. Mira, anything else?
Nope.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. Have a good one.
Happy Sunday.
Oh, we got to do our strong on 3. Strong on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Strong.
All right. Now class dismissed. Thanks, guys.